70 and 50% chance Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday of next week. That's quite a ways out. It almost always changes by the time it gets here. See what we got going on in the news. Let's see here. Dateline, looking for something interesting. Dateline, Auburn, Indiana. Traffic stop on I-69 this past weekend led to the arrest of an Indianapolis man in Auburn after police found about 10 pounds of marijuana in his SUV, according to the Auburn police. Officers were conducting patrols aimed at stopping drug trafficking early Saturday evening when they stopped the SUV for a traffic violation. A K-9 named Mikey sniffed the vehicle. And the officers that Mikey alerted on the vehicle, and officers thought there might be narcotics in the vehicle. When they searched the Buick Enclave, they found about 10 pounds of marijuana. The driver, Ian Nebeers, I don't know, I can't pronounce it. N-E-B-B, Nebeer Ibiza. I don't know. 33 of Indianapolis was arrested of dealing marijuana and possession of marijuana. Good. Another drug dealer off the street. Dateline, Wabash, Indiana. The Wabash man is facing felony child molesting charges after police got a report he had been seen molesting a child. According to release from the Indiana State Police, Juan Martinez, 44, of Wabash, is accused of committing sexual acts with a 12-year-old girl from May of 2014 to July of 2014. Martinez has been taken into custody and now faces the following charges: child molestation, sexual battery, two child molestation charges, and two sexual battery charges, I'm sorry. As of Wednesday morning, Martinez is being held in Wabash County Jail on a 72-hour hold with no bond. Oh, God. I hope he doesn't get molested in jail. Just saying. Moving on. Gonna start incorporating a little, not always a lot of local news. Ladies and gentlemen, that was my Pepsi One I was popping. So, fear not, my 11 years of sobriety is still, good. Throat gets a little dry. I gotta have a little Pepsi. Dateline, Jabalia refugee camp, Gaza Strip. Israeli tanks shells slammed in a crowded UN school, sheltering Gazans displaced by fighting, killing 15 and wounded 90, tearing through the walls of two classrooms. A spokesman for the UN aid agency and the health official. Israeli airstrikes and shelling also killed 40 Palestinians elsewhere in the coastal territory Wednesday, including multiple members of two families struck in their homes. Israeli military said mortar shells had been fired from near the school and that soldiers fired back. That goes on. Pretty much, that's the third UN. That's the third UN school that they've been attacked from, that they've found to be either a storage or a firing facility. Most likely both. Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. A little technical difficulty there. Got her dealt with. Most probably they're being used as storage and firing positions. Wrap it up for the news. Moving on, I want to get to some of these stories. I found a clip of Charles Krauthammer today as I was fumbling through some of my sites. And for the most part, I have a lot of respect for Charles Krauthammer. He's intelligent man, an honorable man. I have a lot of respect for him. But sometimes, kids say the darndest things. And I'll be darned if I can understand these people. They make absolutely no sense whatsoever. This is a story off the Drudge Report via National Review Online. Charles Krauthammer on Fox. Talk of impeachment is a concoction of Democrats. But that doesn't mean there isn't a grander strategy of the White House and its congressional allies, Charles Krauthammer warned. On Tuesday's special report, he speculated that Obama administration may be trying to exhaust the idea of impeachment and softening people up for when the president uses executive action to grant legal status and work authorizations to millions of immigrants in the country illegally. Such an action would be lawless. It would be clearly lawless, and it would be biggest domestic overreach of a president in memory, and an impeachable offense. But yet he's 100%. But if Obama did go ahead with his amnesty by fiat plan, Krauthammer still thinks impeachment wouldn't work. Yeah, definitely impeachment would definitely not work, guys. Definitely, Wapner comes on at 5. Still thinks impeachment would work, and I'd be 100% against impeachment because it would be political suicide. Like I said, I normally, I respect Charles Krauthammer, but you just can't get any dumber than this. Every time, the girls on the 5 and Eric Bolling and Greg, they all fawn over him like he's some sort of, oracle. Some sort of brilliantly wise oracle. And if Obama does what he says he's going to do, it would clearly be an impeachable offense. But I'm 100% against impeachment because it'd be political suicide. Well, God forbid you'd commit political suicide defending the Constitution, huh, Charles? Is that what you're saying? Your political life is more important than the Constitution. It's more important than law and order. It's more important than anything. It must be, or Charles Krauthammer wouldn't be 100% against it. Which really, ladies and gentlemen, goes to my opening monologue before the break. What in the hell has happened to us? What's happened to us? We've lost our sense of right and wrong. We've lost our sense of what it means, what law and order is absolutely necessary. Without it, we're nothing. What is wrong with us? And nobody, I haven't heard anybody say anything other than, oh, well, look how smart Charles is. That guy's really smart. Mark Levin's the only one I've ever heard, even talk negative about him. This ain't my first rodeo, I've pointed it out before, but sometimes he says the stupidest, moronic things I've ever heard in my life. Speaking of which, why don't we just hear it from the horse's mouth?
Well, look, this clearly is a concoction of Democrats. It shows how desperate they are. They know the midterms are coming up. They know that in 1998, the party was saved, the sixth year of administration. It was saved by impeachment, overreaching on impeachment by Republicans, and this is a good issue. It's a good way to raise money. What I like is Boehner's contempt, sort of the tone of sort of sneering tone he had about all this. And it's, it's like Harry Reid saying a couple of years ago, he had been told that Romney hadn't paid any taxes. The rumor. There's only one real thing here, and that is that Obama is said to, or there are reports from the White House, that he's going to do something by executive order about immigration. If he were to do something like legalize half, which is what's been talked about, huge numbers of illegal immigrants, to do it by executive order, which would be clearly lawless, and it would be the biggest domestic overreach of a president in memory. It would be an impeachable offense. I would be 100% against impeachment because it's political suicide, but it really would be the basis for that. That's what I think the White House may actually be softening people up for. An executive order that reaches impeachable offense, but it's a way of, it's like a preemptive strike.
Well, let's be clear. I mean,
political suicide, ladies and gentlemen. God forbid anybody would commit political suicide in defense of the Constitution, in defense of liberty, in defense of law and order, in defense of holding an out-of-control president accountable. Does anybody hear and see the utter absurdity and the contradiction in that statement, the paradox of what just came out of his mouth? Clearly be an impeachable offense. I go back here. I'll go back and read it. Such an action would be clearly lawless, and it would be the biggest domestic overreach of a president in memory, and an impeachable offense. But I would be 100% against it, 100% against impeachment, because it's political suicide. Excuse me? You're either an idiot, or you don't know what the hell you're talking about. It's that simple. I ain't trying to be mean to the poor guy. Like I said, I like him and respect him, but sometimes he says the dumbest things. And he's not the only one. I don't know if Barack Obama is a punk, or if he's an idiot, or a genius, or an evil genius, or just crazy. I still haven't quite figured the guy out. But, this it's starting to look like he's an evil genius. I know. We'll